This week, Ahrefs announced that they are launching a search engine called Yep. Yes, it's called Yep, and that they have plowed $60 million of their own funds into the development of this search engine to compete with the likes of Google and Bing. Now, they're claiming that the search engine will be for creators, giving 90% of revenues generated back to creators. In this video, I'm going to discuss the details of what we know about this project so far, and I'm going to give you my opinion on whether or not I think this is going to work, especially from the point of an SEO veteran who's been doing this for 13 plus years. Let's get into it. First and foremost, I have no connection with Ahrefs. Everything in this video are opinions of mine and mine only. I do have extensive experience using the Ahrefs SEO tool. I think it's one of the best in the market. We've been using it for, as long as I can remember, probably over 10 years now at this point. I think Ahrefs is a tremendous company. They've got an awesome team. They make awesome products, and I'm really rooting for them in this game. But before I get into my opinions, let's dive into the details about what we know about this new search engine. First, we do know that it is called Yep, Y-E-P. Yes, it's really called Yep, and you can check it out at yep.com. The search engine is fully functional. You can actually type in searches and you can see what type of results it will spit back for you. I did some very high level analysis, typed in a few different queries, some transactional, some informational. They seem to be pretty much in line with what Google was serving. There's just a lot more noise in the Google SERPs when it comes to ads, when it comes to knowledge packs. If you search for something like hotels in Miami, you'll notice that Yep is pretty much all blue links, very similar to what DuckDuckGo is accomplishing for years now, stripping out ads, stripping out the noise, just focusing on the search results. Yep seems to be taking a similar approach to that. Now, while I will admit that Google has gotten very crowded, I also think that their algorithm is starting to go a little bit off the rails in terms of what they serve, which does create an opening for Yep to come in and really exploit that. Still, the look, the feel, the experience of using Google is going to be something that Yep is going to really have to push a lot of money into marketing, creators, influencers to really help them to drive adoption of this product, because we're so used to using Google. It's like the only search engine that really exists. So the next thing that we know is that Yep is going to be very creator friendly. They will reportedly pay out 90% of their revenues generated from ads to creators who are listed in the SERPs. They're really going after Google here a lot by saying that a lot of these people are the ones who contribute to your search results, and by not compensating them, you're really destroying the sanctity of the content that they create and their motivation to create better content for the search engines, which over time erodes the search results. Ahrefs founder and CEO Dmytro Gerasimenko, I apologize if I'm butchering his name, told TechCrunch that creators who make search results possible deserve to receive payments for their work. We saw how YouTube's profit-sharing model made the whole video making industry thrive. Splitting advertising profits 90-10 with content authors, we want to give a push towards trading talent fairly in the search industry. Now, Yep also claims to be heavily focused on privacy for their users. The CEO of Ahrefs also told TechCrunch that we do save certain data on searches, but never in a personally identifiable way. For example, we will track how many times a word is searched for and the position of the link getting the most clicks, but we won't create your profile for targeted advertising. I'll unpack my opinion on this a little bit more, because if they're going to make money on advertising, it's going to be difficult to serve the right ads without collecting certain types of data. However, we do know that the internet is going cookieless, and this seems to be in trend with pretty much what everyone is being forced to do, whether they want to use this as a PR chit like Ahrefs is clearly doing here to claim that they are privacy forward, or they're just falling in line with basically what's required of them by law, which is you can't track certain things anymore. Even though people give us their information, they still don't want us to use it. So the final thing that we know is more on the technical side. They've decided to spin up their own data centers. They currently have more than 1,000 servers already spun up, storing more than 100 petabytes of data. TechCrunch cites this as interesting, as most companies would choose to go cloud-based, but Ahrefs does know what they're doing. They've been doing this for a very long time. They've built their own crawlers that have been crawling the internet pretty much at the same pace as Googlebot does. So this is an area that Ahrefs clearly knows what they're doing, but I do think that this data play also plays into why they decided to create Yep, which now we will talk about as I get into my opinion on whether or not I think Yep is a good idea and will actually stick in the search industry. So my opinion starts out with a true kudos to the Ahrefs team. In today's market, very few people have the balls to self-fund. Ahrefs supposedly took $60 million of their own revenue and invested it into this project. They do over $100 million a year in revenue because they create awesome products. This is something that more tech companies need to take note of. I know it's hard to generate that kind of money or to self-invest that kind of money if you don't have it. However, one of the reasons why the market's going to shit right now is because so many tech companies are overvalued. They create these crazy valuations and they don't make any money. And therefore, they have to go and get outside investment, which creates even more of these crazy valuations, which means their stock prices can never really keep up. So we see what's happening to Snapchat and Zoom. All these inflated valuations and stock prices is now leading to a crash, which is setting the market into some turmoil. And it's because of the way people invest. I have a very simple rule. If you don't make money, I'm not going to give you money. We need to get back to that. It's not overly complicated. So kudos to the Ahrefs team. Y'all have brass balls. I love it. I respect it. And I'm really rooting for you guys to win on this one. However, I do have a few reservations, starting first and foremost with the idea that the creator economy still runs through Google. It does not. Nobody blogs anymore. The only people that still blog are marketers and SEOs. While companies do create content, it's really more of an SEO tactic to just pump up traffic to get people into their ecosystem. Most businesses, I don't think, would have a ton of interest in generating revenue off of that. I personally, as a B2B content creator who does create content via blogs that ranks in search, and it is one of our main goals, I don't really care about revenue coming in through the search engines. I care about the potential revenue that comes in through the traffic to my business. I have absolutely zero interest in any sort of affiliate deals, any sort of advertising revenue, because to me, my customer is worth way more than that. And if I create content based on affiliates or based on advertising deals, then I destroy the sanctity of the content. So while I do think that this is smart, I think it's a very good value proposition to try and bring creators back. I do think that that market's gone. I think that people have moved to video. People have moved to social media, TikTok, YouTube, as they even stated in their own press release. But blogging is not the same. It's not dead by any means, because as long as people are searching for, Google will need to create content for it. However, that type of content I don't think is as sticky or as resonates as much as Ahrefs is pushing here. And when they cited YouTube, they kind of made my point for me. They stated that Google did this with YouTube, but not search. I would imagine that Google did this with YouTube, but not search, for the reasons that I just said. They knew that the creator economy was moving to video, that people are spending a lot more time dwelling on YouTube and watching videos than they are in search. People come to search, they search for what they need, they click on it, and they're gone. It's not the same type of experience. So I do think that Ahrefs is drastically overshooting their reach here in terms of this whole creator economy value proposition. I think it's cool. I think it will bring some people in, especially in the SEO industry. But my fear for this value proposition and go-to-market strategy is that it's going to be a search engine for SEOs, and it's just going to create the same problems that we already have, which is mass manipulation of this search engine to get the results that we want, so we can bend the internet and traffic to our will and put more monies in our own pockets. So even more so, when Google decided to incentivize YouTubers, creators over bloggers or writers, you got to think about where the content writing is going, right? And again, us as SEOs, I say us because I do identify with everyone watching this, is that we don't want to get on camera. We want to write words. We don't want to be in front of it. And that can be automated now. AI is taking over, right? In the next 5 years, pretty much most of the content that's going to be in SERPs is going to be written by AI, which is could be argued as a form of manipulation. You're not getting that true creator feel to it, right? So unless they have some sort of mechanism to beat back the AI content, it kind of erodes itself over time, because video can't be faked, right? Video is a true creation from the creator. And I think Google knows this, and I think they knew that, and I think that's why they purposely didn't put this model into search. I don't think that they want to reward more bots and spammers than they already do with their current algorithm. So we did want to incentivize this by monetizing and opening up the SERPs for people to just create content, just to flood it with content, just to be monetized. So again, I think that this was a very smart angle to start with, but I don't think it's very sticky, and I don't think that it's going to have the impact that they think that it will. They were also very vague about how they would generate revenue. They said that they would be generating money from ads, but they didn't say how or where. If it's going to be banner ads, if it's going to be search ads, if those ads have to be on the creators' websites, are those going to be in search engines? And these are very important questions to ask, because they quickly then put us back in the place where Google is now. If they want to differentiate themselves from Google by not having a ton of ads, by not having a ton of pop-ups and all these things that ruin the searcher experience, if they just want to focus on the search results, where do you put ads? DuckDuckGo has done a very nice job just having 1 or 2 search text links when you use the search platform. But seeing how Ahrefs handles this, again, has yet to be seen, because then they have to develop their own ad platform on top of all this. So they're very ambiguous about it, probably on purpose. You know, they just use the example of, if we generate $100 billion, then 90% of it will go to our creators. But where is that $100 billion coming from? How is it going to be generated? Do we have to run our own ads there? That has yet to be seen. So again, this whole value proposition of the creator economy is very, very shaky, and only time will tell to see how this plays out. Now, with all that being said about the creator economy, this is my personal opinion. You can take it for what it is. I do think that there's a bigger play here for Ahrefs. I don't ultimately think that it's about the creators. I don't ultimately think that much that they care about creating a search engine for creators. I think that was the best way that they could go to market with this, to try and stand out, to try and give something that would be able to compete with the massive search engines. And the experience is that let's call it what it is. Google's search experience anymore isn't what it was anymore. They just dominate, and we're so used to using it that they're just jamming more and more stuff down our throats. So I do like the idea of this. However, I think there's something bigger at play here. I don't know this to be a fact, but I do know that Ahrefs is a very expensive company to run. Their crawlers are very expensive. So I would imagine that there's some sort of break on expenses that they're going to get from creating their own search engine and all the data that they can mine from there. Again, I don't have any actual facts on this. This is just my thoughts, but the $60 million that they put up might not be to generate $100 billion in profit. It might just be to save $100 million in costs for their SEO tool. Again, I don't know that for a fact, but I do know that Ahrefs is a very expensive company to run. They have a lot of proprietary tech that's really cutting edge and world class, and I know that's very, very, very expensive. So I would not be surprised if this was a business play for the SEO tool, not to have a search engine necessarily stand on its own and really compete with Google or Bing. So to wrap this up, do I think that Yep will be a success? Honestly, I don't. I think that a lot of people have tried this before when it comes to Bing or Yahoo or DuckDuckGo or all other types of search engines, and ultimately they failed because Google's Google. They know exactly what they're doing. They invented this model, they've pioneered it, and I think it's a very, very large task to try and take them down. So while I am rooting for the Ahrefs team, if you ask me, will I be using Yep? The answer is nope. But I'm curious about you. What do you think about Yep? Will you be using it? What do you think about their model? Leave me your thoughts in the comments below. Let's go back and forth and let's talk about this. I'll see you in the next video.